Hey, everybody, this is Gauntlet City Limits. Gauntlet City Limits is an ongoing living campaign set in Gauntlet City, a fictitious Midwestern American city that we, the players, have all created. Every month, and this month's super special, and I'll explain why in a minute, but every month I'll choose a new game, small press, indie, little book, whatever you want to call it, game, and everybody creates characters, and we will create the neighborhoods for those characters, and we play. And there's a little bit of continuity and through line between characters. We've had reappearances of characters. Events in one game will affect another, but it's loose. And this month is super exciting for me because Major League Baseball season has started. I'm a baseball fan, and I have taken the Black Hack, which is a really cool D&D OSRE type game, and I've made the Bat Hack. And this is a second playtest of what I'm calling lovingly Bat Hack 2 because I ran it last year, and I'm running it again. And the player characters are minor league baseball players who play for the Gauntlet City Goblins. If you know that there are levels of minor leagues, it's kind of a double A. If you don't, it's the minor leagues, which means they are not the pros. They may not have – majority of the minor leaguers here have not stepped foot on a Major League Baseball diamond, right? They all have the hopes and dreams, young adults straight out of high school to college age who come to Gauntlet City for 6 months out of the year and play baseball and get paid a very, very minor amount of money. It is not a great way to make a living, but we'll discuss that as we create characters. So we're going to go through the process of making what I call the ball player PCs here, and then Mark, who played with us in the opening night edition, will join us in a little bit. So let's start with Paul. You've already started a little bit. You've got a character. Tell us what we've got for your character so far.
Can you link the character keeper, please?
Oh, yes, I can. I'm so sorry, you guys. Let me do that. I'm going to link it in the G chat for the Bat Hackers there, and then I'll also put it in our video window.
Thank you, sir.
And if you need me to read off stuff, I know sometimes the Google spreadsheets are a little fussy with you. You let me know, okay?
Yep. I should be fine because every single other process, but it'll take just 1 second for me to load it in the first place. All right, I am Brick DeVore, and believe it or not, Brick is actually his given name from birth. I'm playing Brick is a catcher, and what else do you Brick? Rich.
Brick's a catcher. A catcher's the guy who's behind home plate with an umpire leaning on him for, a couple hours, and he has to catch 90 to 100 mile an hour balls that are thrown into a very narrow space. I see here that your speed and your likability are your lowest stats, which means you're not very fast, and
my speed and my fielding. My fielding is my lowest, actually.
You're right. Yeah, tell me about that. So a 7 fielding for a catcher. Interesting. Tell me about it.
That was a specific choice because I decided after I saw the numbers that I rolled, which were not great numbers, decided I wanted Brick to be a catcher, but one who had a series already of operations on his knees, is a little bit older than most minor leaguers, called up once or twice, but he's rehabbed his knees several times, but as a result of the operations, he also has been to the other kind of rehab because he developed issues with pain medication. And
just so I'm clear, has he been up to the majors? If you already said, I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been called up once or twice for short stints, just to basically to fill in when someone is when there's an injury that can't quite be replaced.
Gotcha. Cool. Somebody gets kicked onto the 60-day disabled list and the 60-day DL, and you go up for a few series. Okay. Cool. Got it. Tell us a little bit about your character details. What do you dream of playing pro baseball in the big leagues?
Because it's really from the time I was, 7 in the Pee Wee leagues, right? Whatever, before even it was the only thing that ever really clicked with me. The only way it was like, how when you're in high school, you get report cards that say, Johnny has so much potential.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the only way that I felt like that potential was a thing, was relevant. The only place that I found I could do it. So the answer is, it's all I'm good at.
All right. And I see here there are within the character details, there'll be a couple of questions that are standard, and then a question that is
some are position specific. Yeah,
position specific. So as a catcher, you're the general on the field. Often the catcher will be in a battery with the pitcher. He's calling pitches for the pitcher to make, and he'll tell the infield, how to position, that kind of stuff. So how do you normally handle the team? There are a few choices, and then of course you can always write in your own answer. Those are just suggestions. But how do you feel the way that Brick deals with the infield?
I think Brick's leadership style, as it were, because he's got a high leadership, but I think he has problems. And so I think he's kind of manipulative.
All right.
I think he tries to pull puppet strings rather than actually, motivating people through and locker room banter.
Okay. Cool. I see here he's a custodian of the First United Methodist Church. That's interesting. I'm sure that will come back and be a pretty interesting thing. So cool. Good. Thank you so much. So Brick Divorce, ready to go. Sean, let's check in with your character. I see you've named him Ernest Bench. No related to Johnny. Is he? He's not.
No direct lineage there.
All right. See here, you've got 4 of your stats where you just roll for your party. Oh wow!
I am playing along.
Nice. Look at you. It's great.
Straight down the middle with these.
3d6 straight down the line.
Oh jeez! Here we go.
Once you're done, then you can swap 2 of the stats if you so wish.
I think I'm going to keep them where they landed here. For some reason, this guy lucked out. Ernest Bench is really likable.
Wow. He is so likable.
Perfect. Do you know what? Ernest got into baseball because it was the easiest way to make friends, and then to impress people, and then to keep his parents happy, and then to find jobs in he kind of lives in the wrong end of town out in Flamingo Flats. So like finding a job that isn't working on the rail yard is a pretty fun way to spend his summers.
Flats is the best name. Good job. I'm impressed. And let's see here. Right now, Brick is living in Valley Heights. Of course, Hiram's from Candletree. Cool. All right. So you got those stats worked out. That's pretty great. do a quick roll of D8, and that'll be your starting hit points. Hit points are to use against injury. There's Mark.
That is a D8. Oh, that's somebody else's that said is grabbed. I'll put that back for you.
Yeah, we may clear.
There we go. Got a 4 for my D8.
Okay, cool. It's D8 plus 4, so you start off with
8. I can math today.
Good deal. We'll handle your character details in just a minute. I just want to swing back to Steven. So, Steven, it looks like you are almost done rolling stats. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. D10 for your hit points. Oh, and if you wanted to swap a couple of those, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I just swapped my hitting and my fielding.
Cool. So the middle infielder position actually covers 2 positions, second base and shortstop. If you take a look at the field tab, you'll see where they are normally positioned. Usually a shortstop, there's very low expectation for good hitting, but the fielding is always really important for a shortstop. Second base, a little less so.
Okay, let's see. I accidentally deleted one of my stats, and I don't remember exactly what it was.
Control Z? Try Control Z, and that'll...
There it goes. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, yeah. So, right. I'm playing Hiram Skorzynski, who is a recycled character. I previously played him in a couple of Inspectors games, so he played.
Oh my! I was like, that name looked familiar. Oh, that's hilarious. Hiram somehow ended up on the Goblins. Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he played football in high school, and after that, he was the manager at a Subway franchise until it closed, and then he got a loan and turned it into an Inspectors franchise, which he ran for a few years before they went out of business, and it got replaced by a Subway, where he's now the assistant manager. and I mean, at some local tryouts for the Goblins, he did well enough that they brought him onto the roster. I mean, he's a local, so they don't have to pay any travel expenses or anything. They figure, why not? Okay, we'll take a fly on this guy. He's not very good. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience with batting, but he's got good hand-eye coordination. He's good at throwing. That sort of translated into fielding. So he's been. They put him in as a middle infielder, and like the guy who was playing last week, he's out this week, so Hiram is going to get his chance to play.
All right, cool. On the off chance that you end up, I don't know. Yeah, so we'll have you in as a shortstop. So you'll be a middle infielder. You can kind of swap between the 2 positions in the lineup card.
Okay.
We stuck you in the shortstop position.
Okay.
That is awesome. There we go. Cool. So if you guys check the People and Resources tab of the Bat Hack team, you'll see that I've written up the Goblins team roster, as well as in green highlighted you guys on the batting order. So I've got a batting order worked out. That's for this Saturday afternoon game. You guys are playing against the Galorian Pathfinders. And the starting pitcher for the Pathfinders is the 6'8" Kyle Halbone. Kyle Halbone is a giant tree of a man. He's jokingly called the Treant. And he could almost, they make jokes that when he throws the ball, he nearly touches home plate because he's just gigantically tall. He is lean. I imagine him like a Randy Johnson prototype. So a little wild, a lot of speed, and a crazy splitter. Now, we've got a little bit of bookkeeping to do with Jimmy. Mark, remind us of Jimmy just a little bit for the folks who have not met him.
Jimmy's a complex guy. On the field, he's first baseman. Last game, he got an what do you call it? In the park home run, in field.
Yep,
home
inside the park home run.
Inside the park home run.
Nice.
He plays. He's a cleanup. You said, I think.
That's right. They had him. Your coach, Mike, had him batting cleanup, and he's batting cleanup again today.
Cleanup, right? And as you can tell, Mark, the player, isn't as much into the baseball terminology, but he's trying. Let's see. He's got a very nice public image. He likes to go out and help out the boys and girls clubs. He's in baseball because it's about the only thing he can do. And the main thing that he does, not the main thing he does, but one of the things that he's in it for the hookups. So he's complex. And last night he got the second baseman a little drunk. I'm thinking that since the player isn't here, he may be too hungover to play.
Yeah, Devin showed up hungover, and your coach, Michael Hernandez, Mike, he benched him. Yeah.
So I leveled up after our last game, and I need to do something about checking my stats.
You do. So that's a cool thing about this game. Whenever you level up, you test your stats. So all you have to do is you roll a d20, and because you're playing a first baseman, Mark, you roll twice for hitting and likability. So you can just hop onto the roll for your party. I know that you've got that link. You roll a d20.
Yep. And am I rolling above or below?
It's a great question, and I was going to answer it, but then I thought, you know what? I've got the rules written down, so why don't I double check it? You need to roll. I'm so dumb. Like, I know this, and then someone asks me, and then I forget it. So I'm just.
It makes sense to me to do above.
All right. Hold on. If the result is higher, then the stat increases by 1.
Okay, so it's not equal to or higher; it's just higher. Okay.
Yes, you roll higher than that. So you roll a d20. If you get a 12 or better on your speed goes up by 1.
Okay. First stat, I got a 12, and
all
I'm
right,
rolling over 11, so it goes up by 1.
Yes, it's now a 12.
Okay. Rolling for hitting. Let me move these dice up here a little bit so I can see them. And
you get to roll twice for hitting. That's part of your position special ability. So you can roll 2d20 and take the one you prefer.
Okay. I rolled a 19 or an 18.
Wow. So your hitting goes up by 1. Oh, my goodness, you are so good.
Now it's time for fielding.
Let's see. That is just a regular d20.
Well, it was an 18, and now it's unselected. I can't tell. It says last total was an 18. Okay. I hope the dice don't kill me for the rest of the evening. Leadership. Let's roll this 19 here. And I got a 10. That does not go up.
Okay, and then you get to roll 2d20 for likability. You just need 11 or better.
Okay. 15 and a 19. Okay.
Wow, you're super likable.
Cool.
Nice work. Cool. So the way that making a level works in this game, after every game session, everybody makes a level. It's nice and simple. There's a play test. I may come up with more granulated ways of making a level. I don't necessarily think I will, but that's where we're at for right now in this current iteration. Cool. All right, so let's get to know just a little bit about Ernest and Hiram here. Actually, I got a good handle on Hiram, but Ernest lives with the host family. Oh, thank you so much, John. Love it. So good. Cool. So you live with the Scots. The Scots are goblin. They bleed goblin green. The Scots have a daughter who's currently she's she's off at college, and so they have offered up 2 players the ability to stay. They have been foster families, host family is what they're called. They've been host families for 5-6 years, and when they say their eldest is away at college, she's just going to the community college, so she has an apartment, but occasionally will come back to an apartment with like 2 roommates, and she comes back over the weekends to do laundry because she's in that age. But yeah, you stay with the Scotts, and they are an older family in their like 50s, and they have normal humdrum jobs, and their lives are going to Goblins games and supporting the team. And you are currently staying, I'm going to say that you are with Kyle Holder. So Kyle Holder is a shortstop, and he is actually benched today because Harem is getting the start. But Kyle's had a pretty good game last night. He's actually a little surprised that he got benched, but Mike is here to make sure all the kids get a chance to get their starts. All right, so it is a Saturday afternoon. It's warm here in Gauntlet City. Birds flying up high. The stadium itself is nice. It's relatively expensive. It can hold about 12,000 people. And so it's just a few levels. All the seats are perfect seating. There's a huge berm in the outfield, meaning this big grassy area where there's no actual seating. You go out and kind of picnic. It's a minor league. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a minor league baseball game, but it is a lot more loose than a major league game. The Goblins will often have, like every week, they'll have the bring your dog to the game, bring your pet. They have pet day. They have fireworks on Friday night games. They have, unfortunately, they still have dollar beer night. That's usually, and doesn't always go terribly well, but they keep doing it. Yeah, bark in the park. Yes, I love that phrase. That's great. Bark in the park. Saturdays after the game, kids run the bases. So lots of crazy stuff. In between innings, there are a lot of very kid-oriented activities that are going on. So you guys come off the field, and before things flip over, they'll have some contest where kids are running the bases, or they're trying to dress in big floppy clothing and run halfway down the field before some other kid. A lot of race things, and there's a big jumbotron. It's a big screen, and they'll throw up trivia and the like. So all kinds of fun stuff. Yes, they do the stealing bases trick. Like you have to literally go out and steal the base or run back with it. It's fun stuff. So it's very festive atmosphere, Gauntlet City Goblins. And this Saturday afternoon game, a lot of times they'll play at night. But this is an afternoon game, and it's pretty full. There are about 10,000 people here as the lineup cards are traded between Mike and Pathfinder's coach as they head out there and trade up there. Jack Howell brings out his lineup card for the Pathfinders. Go through the national anthem. You guys all line up along the freshly dropped chalk. You can smell the peanuts and the popcorn in the air, and lots of beer. And there's a lot of green out in the field. Unfortunately, Ski has a little bit of work to do. Ski's one of your more popular outfielders, and he had a pretty good game last night. Actually, last night he went into the stands to catch a ball. There's a guy who was sitting right down the first base line, busy paying attention to his phone. Ski went into him, knocked his beer out, caught the ball, but beer went flying. So Ski actually had a $5 in his back pocket. He flagged down a beer guy, bought him a new beer, $5. I don't know how he got that kind of discount, but bought him a cheap beer, must have been, and that ended up on the radio and the papers. That's an important point. We're not really going to talk about the internet. I think of this game as a little bit timeless. So there are phones. Just kind of think of it like the 90s. but we're not going to necessarily peg it. Kind of like the original, like, I can't believe I always give this example, but I haven't found a better, like, timeless movie. But I kind of imagine it like the first Tim Burton Batman movie, where you had certain Art Deco styles, but then you had other technology that didn't happen during that time frame. Just think generally 90s, except better hair and less ripped jeans. Fair? Good? All right. So we jump straight in. So you guys take the field, go through a couple of innings, and we pick up in the top of the fourth inning. It's a 9-inning ball game. Top of the fourth, which means that the Pathfinders are batting. You guys bat in the bottom half of the inning. And at the top of the fourth, right now, as we pick up, it is 6 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun is hour and a half, 2 hours from setting. So it's still warm. There's a nice breeze. Feels really good outside. And there is Jonah Todd is on first base. He just got walked by Jordan the Bus Foley. Jordan Foley is your starting pitcher. He's 6 foot, and the program generously lists him as 255. He's probably more in the 263 range. He has a Dunlap. His belly's Dunlapped over his belt. Jordan's a big guy, and he takes every ounce of his body and throws it in behind that. So he's only 6 foot tall. It's not terribly tall, but he's got a good fastball and a decent amount of control. But he's walked Jonah Todd, and there's 1 out. Jonah's currently on first base, and Brick, that he is a threat to steal. Jonah's got blazing speed, and as Jordan, the pitcher, is a little pissed at himself, he kind of stalks around the mound before he toes the rubber and steps up onto the pitcher's mound. He sees a little upset that he walked him, and chances are that with the bus's slow delivery, that you're going to have to deal with Jonah trying to steal second.
I am sorry to interrupt, but you still have Kyle in the batting order, so I don't know who's playing second base. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for that. I will fix that. That is not right. Let me fix that real quick. So our second baseman should be Kyle's been seated, and I actually said that earlier. Thank you for that. And Devin's seated. So we've got Hoi Jun Park is currently playing. And let me fix that. Thank you very much. Hoi Jun Park is our Korean American who is playing second base. So he's in right across from you, Hiram.
What's the is Coy the kind of guy that actually pays attention when we get briefed or watch video or talk about who's who?
Great question. Hoi is very studious. Some people just call him Park, but Hoi Jun Park is very studious. He's played baseball his whole life. His whole family plays baseball, but none of them are here local to him. He's also with the host family. He absolutely knows that Jonah is a threat to steal. Now he plays second. If you are looking to throw out Jonah, then chances are that
it's
here
the first baseman.
Well, if you want to throw him before he steals, then you can try to take it to Jimmy and see if you can.
Okay.
You can throw him out, but if he goes to steal throw, then it's going to be up to Hiram to cover the base.
So, before this pitch, before I signal anything, I give Hiram a signal to watch the base closely, because this guy could steal on a foul, right? He's fast. So I warn Hiram what might be coming. And who's up at bat now?
Great question. So right now, coming up to bat is Richard Fecteau, the third baseman for the Pathfinders. Right now, the score is Pathfinders 3, Goblins 5, and it's at the top of the four things. There have been a lot of scoring that has taken place so far. You've already knocked out your pitcher. Ooh, great question. Your pitcher is left-handed. The bus is a left-hander.
It's a long way to get around to throw.
Mm-hmm. All right, I shift my frame to of course accommodate being able to whip it out and this is the first pitch. I'm going to signal pitcher's choice on this.
Okay. Cool. Now, you can, if you want, you could ask for him to try to do a pitch out, which gives you a benefit. I'll let you basically get a +1 to your die roll to try to throw out Jonah. But it's you're determining that you're absolutely going to give a ball to Fecteau.
Oh, I like that. Then I will make that signal. I like that.
Sweet. So, yeah, you drop a 1 like you're telling you to do a fastball, but you throw a couple of other hand signals between there and your crotch there. You know, the catcher does all kinds of cool hand signals, and Bus doesn't like the idea of giving another ball after walking a guy, but he doesn't shake it off. He fires it, and he's halfway through the delivery. Jimmy, you're holding him on first, which means that you if you remember from last time we played, you play close to the bag, like you're actually got a foot on the bag, and in case the bus wants to toss it back to you to keep Jonah from getting too much of a lead.
Okay.
But the bus is really focused in. He usually ignores runners, and he throws that fastball. Jonah takes off. You hear him. You know you've got to cover second base. You've gone over this, drilled it. Park has shown you what you need to do, and Mike's pretty good with the infielders, so you are going to head in. Now, because you're a player character, Hiram, if you want to, because this is a great opportunity, one of the rules we have is teamwork. So if you were trying to help with the throw out here.
Like he's going.
Yeah. You can roll a d20, and then that will be a die that Paul, rolling for Brick, has the option of root to use. And you got to test against fielding Brick, unfortunately. Sorry, dude. But you do have your +1 because you got a pitch out.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I will absolutely do that. I mean, I am shouting and waving my arms. As I dash towards second base.
Cool. All right, he's going. You dash over to second base.
I kind of stumble over my feet a bit.
You're ready to take that scoop throw. Hopefully, this old man. By the way, how old is Brick? Just so all the others know.
Old in this instance is like 28.
So he's ancient. He's ancient
Right.
AF, guys.
Right.
He is the oldest man. There's a coach who's younger than him. Eric Duncan is younger than him. Eric Duncan has had a career and then become a hitting coach and is a year younger than Brick DeVore. All right, so Brick, you get to test fielding. So you roll a d20, and you are looking to roll under. You have a +1, so you need to roll a 7 or less.
This should be fun.
Oh, right. We have to roll under. So I actually did really well with my helping roll.
Yeah.
What color is not chosen.
So the way that helping works,
I would say blue.
you roll a d20, and then the player who's making the roll, which is the fielding roll right here, he can choose either of those, but he's still applying it against his own stat.
Okay, so I'm about to roll.
All right.
If I click on the proper tab, that is le submit.
Is it a 10 or
Right.
a 1?
Right,
you
but I rolled right.
All right.
I suggest taking the 1.
Take the 1.
Yes, I would like to
Sweet.
take the 1.
All right. So here, yeah. So you take the 1. Is this the thing where you kind of bounce it in to hear him, or do you throw it a little bit high and he has to make a quick tag? What does it look like? Brick.
I would like for it to be a little bit on the dramatic side. So I'm going to say that I edge it to where he has to stretch out,
Okay.
to grab it, but it just that the direction he had to stretch put him right in position to make contact with the guy trying to steal second.
Nice. So
yeah, and I was standing to where I would need to make that stretching catch because I want to look good.
Nice. You jump up, you snag that ball, bring it down, sweeping tag across Jonah, and the umpire's right there. You're out of there. Jonah hops up, trots back to the dugout, and there are now 2 outs. That's fantastic. Very cool play, guys. Now, all you guys are infielders, which is really interesting, and I love it. So the next at-bat comes up. The bus is scorecard CS? What's that mean?
Caught stealing.
Ah, nice. Don't know why I didn't remember that. Cool. 2 outs. Next person who comes up to bat is Jimmy, your favorite guy, Roberto Baldaquin. Yeah. So Fecto actually, he hits a dribbler, ends up on first base. Yes?
I hate to be that guy.
Sure.
But the previous batter just has one ball now.
He says he just
After
hit a
that
dribbler
play.
and got on base.
Yeah.
Did you say that?
I wasn't clear. So he
I
got
missed
one
it.
ball
I'm sorry.
and then a couple pitch. I'm skipping ahead. I was not at all clear. So after the first ball, the bus is pretty excited, but Fecto hits a dribbler. He ends up on first. Roberto Baldaquin comes up, 2 outs. It's the top of the 4th. They are down by 2. You guys are up. And unfortunately, Roberto, he strikes out. Unfortunately for him. Fortunately for the Pathfinders. He strikes out, and that ends that top half of the inning. And we come to the bottom of the 4th. Now, you guys have the 2-run lead right now. It is still 5-3. And the first person who's up to bat, and if you guys check on the people and resources, we have a batting order. First person up to bat is none other than Ernest Bench. Let me call you Ernie. Or is just Ernest? You insist on Ernest?
Oh, they call me Bench half the time, even when I do finally get out there to play.
Nice. So, Ernest, what is your walk-up music? What's the music that plays when you walk up to bat?
It's the beginning of a Run the Jewels song. So it's just like heavy bass line, like aggressive rap sound to it, which is weird because he's skinny white dude.
Nice. That is a nice little juxtaposition of music and personage. I like it. So, Ernest, you come up. Bench, you come up. Kyle Halbone is, well, I'll be honest with you. You struck out earlier, and you also got hit by pitch. It's your 3rd at bat because you guys have scored 5 runs. So in the bottom of the 4th, you guys have gone around, but Kyle's been a little wild. He's been a little crazy. So you are up to bat. What would you like to do? So options. You can hit it where they ain't. And this is in the player's guide, but I want to walk you through it. So you can hit where they ain't, which means that you're just going to roll hitting. You can try to swing for the fences. If you swing for the fences, then you roll with disadvantage, which means that you roll 2d20, and you choose the lowest of the two, and you're comparing that against your hitting. Let's see. You roll hitting with disadvantage, but if you are successful with that lowest of the two, or the highest of the two, your effect die, which is determined by your position, and we'll talk about what the at-bat result is, gets stepped up by a die type. And then the third option is if you want to bunt or try to get an infield hit, then you can roll with speed, but you roll with that at a disadvantage. So hitting with disadvantage or speed are the stats that you are testing based on the strategy of how you want to get on board. What would you like to do?
You know what? Hitting is not my forte, and I'm not that quick, so I'm not going to try to make a big play for anything fancy inside. But we've got that lead. I'm going to take a nice big step and swing into the first pitch that looks like it's anywhere in the wheelhouse.
Nice. Okay, so just swing for the fences because you're hoping you can get a good effect if you connect. That sounds awesome. So roll 2d20, and then we'll compare your highest die result. I went ahead and I did clear because things were getting a little messy on the roll for your party, so I cleared it.
All right, let's pick a color. I'll stick with purple from here out. Okay.
Cool. Always a good idea. Oh, so a 19. Awesome. So it takes him 5 pitches. On the 5th pitch, you hit. It feels really good. You feel the wood sing in your hands, and you send one. We hear the crowd. Ah! But it dies on the warning track. Warning track power for you, bench, and you get sent back to the bench. In fact, as you've probably heard all of your life, Roberto Baldaquin, who plays first base, says, "Head back to the bench."
Who the fuck are you anyway?
So. All right, so next coming up to bat is none other than Tom Jimmy Stokes. What is it that is your walk-up music? I can't remember.
I Need a Hero.
Oh, that's right. And Ski is not here to play oh shoot, what was it? It was the accordion version, right? He's not here. He's working, so he doesn't play the accordion version of "I Need a Hero."
Right.
So you step up to bat. Now, you did pretty well your last at bat against Kyle Halbone. You guys have scored a few runs. So what is it? Did you hit a double? Did you hit a legit home run, or just get on base the last time you were up to bat?
I hit one between center and left field, and we had a guy on second, and that got him home. And I stopped halfway between first and second base, and went back to first.
Nice. So you are up to bat. Kyle is feeling pretty good. I think he's back on a roll. He's going to get you out. And the catcher, Julian Leon, he says, "Hey, just thought I'd let you know it's going to be a fastball, buddy."
Well, anyone that knows me knows that once I get up to the plate, I'm in the zone. So I'm not sure that I even hear this information. But as I'm breathing out, as I'm swinging, and breathing out, if the catcher's listening really well, he might hear a rejoinder. But yeah, I try to ignore that kind of mess.
All right.
So I'm just looking to get on base. Nothing fancy tonight. Last night was showboating. Tonight's all about the hard work. So
Sounds good. Why don't you go ahead and roll d20? You were trying to roll below your hitting stat, and that's going to be pretty easy for a guy like you, Jimmy.
okay, so my hitting is a 16, so 16 or lower. Okay.
I hate you.
So just so you guys are aware, and there's a thing called a challenge rating. Right now, Kyle is so tired that his challenge rate, he's basically a 2. But if his challenge rating, if he were a really ace pitcher, super hot, first coming in, has some crazy pitches, that kind of, he could be a challenge rating as high as a 5. And we would compare that to your character's level, and the difference is added to your die roll, or so. But at this point, it's 2 versus 2, so you just roll against your stat, and
all right.
See how you.
I'm re-rolling this 13 that I rolled, and I get a 9.
A 9, awesome. So go ahead and roll your effect roll for your position. Your effect die is a D10.
Okay. Got a 2.
Okay, so on a 2, you get a single. Awesome. So
Nice.
you get a single. It's a long. It bounces against the outfield wall, but it bounces back, and the center fielder grabs it, tosses it back to second. So you get halfway around first, but trail back to first base. And as you're standing there on first base, your teammate Dalton Blazer comes up to bat, and he goes down on strikes. Actually, 3 strikes. He fouled off the second, but the third he swung and missed, and now with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning, with you guys up by 2, Brick DeVore comes up to bat. So you got 1 man on, buddy Jimmy Stokes. Jimmy is reasonably fast, but not a kind of person you would normally send, especially since he might injure himself and he's such a great hitter. You don't have a sign to steal at this point, but it's on, like, if you see it, you can take that base. Jimmy is what you're given all clear that if you feel like you can steal a base, you can, but they're not asking you to steal. Brick, what is the walk-up music or type of music that plays when you come up to bat?
I tried all sorts of different things over the years, and for some reason, people keep ignoring me and using the opening of Another Brick in the Wall by Pink Floyd. They won't listen to me. So I've just kind of gone with it. I've lived with this name for 28. I was born with it. I don't know what my parents were thinking. My little brother was not named Concrete. His name is Peter. So I just have learned to go with it, whatever happened.
I'm writing this stuff down so I remember it. Your character sheet. It needs to be on the character sheet now, doesn't it? What's your walk-up song? I mean, it's too fun, right?
Yeah.
It's too fun.
Yep. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my phone. So yeah, that's playing, and I walk out, and I'm like hitting. I'm still fairly confident about, and but I'm still kind of repeating the, like, some of the one day at a time kind of recovery mantras.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's where my head gets to when I'm trying to get ready to hit.
Sweet. So, Hiram, you're up on deck. So there's like a little circle area where you can come out and use it to get your timing down, your swing, your regular bat, watching what's going on. And when you went up to get into the on deck circle, you heard hitting coach Eric Duncan. He says, hey, check it out. And he points out to where the Pathfinder's bullpen is. He said, they got two guys up. If Brick gets a hit, Kyle is done. Kyle being the starting pitcher for the Pathfinders, they're going to yank him. He's giving up too many runs as it is, and they're trying to get through 5 with that pitcher. So another brick and wall comes up, comes playing echoing over the speakers, people going crazy. You can hear, I love Monty Python. That's great.
So, yeah, I walk up. I'm already loose. I'm ready to hit. I'm just. This is not 5-3, bottom of the 4th. Our only man is on first. This is not a bunt situation. So I'm going to do my best to try to get a piece of that ball.
Okay. So if you're just trying to hit it where they ain't, then go ahead and roll a test against your hitting.
All right. So I'm going to roll blue.
Okay. What? That's gorgeous, man. Nice. That is definitely underneath. You're hitting 12. That's great. You're effect die. You're a catcher. Sorry, you're kind of a flyweight hitter. You get to roll a D4.
Yeah. So I will also roll a blue D4.
Oh, okay. So you hit what should be a seeing eye single. Right, the shortstop has to move to his right. He dives after it, but there is a little bit of a mix-up. And Jimmy, you're coming around second when the left fielder charged on the ball, and he throws it back to second base, and you have to get caught in a rundown, Jimmy. And so back and forth, there's not much you can do about it. They may talk about a miscue. Who knows? You're told by the third base coach to go ahead and round it. They thought that it was going to dribble out, and that gets the third out, and that will end the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th, though, still you guys are up by 2, and a couple more boring innings go on until you get to...
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Oh,
I was just
true,
apologizing to Jimmy.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah. Sorry.
Left him in stranded. No. Wasn't a fielder's choice. Technically, it was kind of scored a hit. So you got credit for a single. We bounce along until the top of the 7th. The top of the 7th is when they are threatening to score again. Now, again, you guys still have a 2-run lead. And right now, the person who's batting is Artemis Kadakian. Artemis Kadakian is the 8th hitter. He weighs like Artemis weighs maybe 175, which is not so bad. He's up to bat, and he lays down a bunt. The bus is not terribly agile, and he's kind of gassed. Like he really probably wants to come out of the game, but hasn't yet, because Mike and the pitching coach, Jose Rosado, have left him in to see what he's made of. So Artemis bunts it, sends it down the third base line.
I'm on it.
All right. Cool. So this is it is one of those things where it's just riding the chalk and just a perfect little bunt. You are going to have to barehand it. I'm going to say that the challenge rating for throwing him out is going to be a 4. Now, your first level, so that means it adds 3 to your roll, or you can reduce your rating by 3, whichever is easier math for you. And you need to make a fielding test. Jimmy, you could, if you wanted, try to help out.
Oh, definitely.
Cool. So what are you doing?
I am. Let's see. I'm so our pitcher's gassed, and I'm telling him to duck, because the ball's going to come straight through him.
Good
Nice.
call.
And
Perfect.
I've got my glove out, ready to take it. Like my leg is stretched on the base. I'm as close to the pitcher's mound as I can be.
Gorgeous.
I got the glove out.
Okay, so go ahead and roll that 20.
Okay, I came up with a 6. Add 3 is better than my 12.
That is awesome. You can go ahead if you want, Jimmy, with your help roll, but it looks like his actual die roll is going to be successful. So yeah, you guys are able to get out that little squib of a bunt, and Artemis Kadakian is sent back to the pine. The next person who comes up to bat is a pinch hitter. Kyle's already been gone. You guys see that Connor Riley, who is the guy who pitched last night, he throws around 99 miles an hour, which in this level is unheard of. So Connor's probably going to be pitching in the next half inning when you guys come up to bat. But right now, Brennan Morgan comes up to bat. Now, Brennan is a guy who's got a ton of power. And the song that plays for him is Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. And he comes up to bat. He's a left-hander. The bus, he calls you in. Like he reaches down at Brick and he's like, come here.
It takes me an extra second to get up from the catcher's crouch, just because my knees.
Oh shit! Poor guy.
So, and but then I once I'm up, I trot out to the mound, like, Bus, what up?
He calls in the rest of the infield. So Jimmy, Hiram, Bench, all you guys come in. And he's got his glove up over his face. He's like, I don't, this guy's going to take me yard, man. This guy's crazy good. He's DH'd before. What the hell are we going to do? I think I'm just going to walk him.
Move the strike zone in about 1.5 feet. Go for a knee.
We just hit him?
You can walk him. You can walk him the right way if you
You
want.
think I should nail him? What do you think, Brick?
There's no one on base, right?
Yeah, it's nobody on base. Got one out.
So then, yeah, walk him and just that obvious. I will shift 3 feet to the side, or 2 feet to the side, so it's clear.
Okay, Jose's not going to let me just give him 4, so I'm going to pitch around. Okay?
All right.
Okay. All right. You guys good? Okay. And he'll head back to the mound. And he never left the mound. You guys head back to your positions, and he starts pitching around. And so Brandon Morgan, who has been up to the bigs a few times, he's not very fast. He's not a very good fielder. He basically comes and he hits home runs. So his bat does not leave his shoulder, and he takes first base. And that's when Jose, the pitching coach, he looks over at you, Brick. Like, what are you doing? He's back in the dugout, so it's kind of more like hand gestures type thing. But what's your reaction?
I just kind of wave my hand like, I'll explain later. If the pitching coach doesn't know that Bus doesn't have enough left in the tank to pitch seriously to this guy, then I'm not going to try to explain it from here.
Okay. All right. Well, you tell me later. Jose, he sees that, and then he talks real quick to Mike, and Mike throws his hand up. And he starts walking out towards the field, and Jose comes out, and Jose taps his right arm, which is signal to the bullpen, and Brian Keller, who is kind of a curveball splitter specialist for you guys. He's been warming up. He starts coming out. And Mike has a few words with Bus. There's some applause, right? Because he's got the lead at this point. He would get the win. He's gone deep enough into the game. And so there's a pitching change. And then the game actually ends with you guys up 5-3, because with that pitching change for Keller, he is able to take out Juan Moreno, and they end up leaving poor Brennan Morgan standing on first base as you guys finish out that inning.
So the inning ends. You said game ends, but inning ends.
You're right. I explained things backwards. So you guys bring the inning to a close, and then we fast forward to the actual game ending. That was the last run that they were able to threaten with Brennan Morgan. And then we skip ahead through the game. You guys win 5-3. And it is Saturday night, so kids are on the bases. Jimmy, there's some kids from the Boys and Girls Club, the local boys club in your neighborhood there in Upper East Village, the Upper East Village Boys Club, which that's a weird juxtaposition because that's such a nice neighborhood. Like, how many kids do they have from the Upper East Village?
It's the Upper East Village sponsored boys club.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
That's awesome. So the Upper East Village sponsored boys club are there. Some of them are there to run the bases. So run the bases is a thing where like all kids are welcome. You come down, there's this huge queue, and then you get to run around the bases. And it's a joyous little occasion for their young hearts. Jimmy, though, you can hit the showers. Nobody's going to be offended unless you wanted to stick around. What do you do?
I stand behind first base, and I encourage the kids as they run around.
Nice. Cool. So I think that is going to attract the attention of our intrepid reporter, our sports reporter, Jane Forrester, the KGOB sports reporter. And Jane will come out. Hey, do you have a minute, Jimmy?
Are the kids done running?
They're in the queue right now. It goes on for a good half hour.
Oh, okay.
It takes forever.
I didn't want it to be like there's 5 kids left, and it's like, screw those kids.
No, she actually has come out onto the field. Like you're off to the side, you're able to watch them, and she just kind of comes to talk to you and put a mic in your face while you're doing your.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So I wave her over.
Okay, cool. Hey, so Jimmy, really great game with the Goblins. You guys won 2 games in a row against the Pathfinders. How are you feeling about everybody this season? Again, reminder, this is the second game of the season, so you guys kind of opened up and you're now 2-0, so doing pretty well.
Well, I have to say that this bodes well for the tournament this year. I think we we know each other. We talk to each other, and we're pushing ourselves as far as we can. We you know our what was the pitcher's name again? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. The bus, Jordan, the bus Foley.
Yeah, Jordan pitched really well tonight and stayed on as long as he could, and everybody brought the best game they could to the park, and I think you can see from the kids here that they really enjoyed it.
Hey, Jimmy, what was going on with that thing there in the 7th inning when Jordan walked Brennan Morgan? Was he afraid of Brennan?
Well, you'd be a fool to not know Brennan's record, and I think he made the best choice for the team. I don't think there was any fear there. I think there was calculation. I think there was knowledge and execution.
Awesome. So, out of character, I want you to roll likability. Jane is not trying to corner you per se, but she did ask a hard question. So I just want you to roll your likability. Only a d20. If you can get under your likability, then
Okay.
there won't be an embarrassment for the bus.
Okay, so I roll with advantage when testing likability with the medium.
Yeah, you do.
Of course you do.
And likability is 11. So let's see what happens here. 13 and a 19. I fail.
Ooh, okay, all right. So she doesn't press on it because she's a little like it's home team, right? She says, "Yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much, Jimmy. Really appreciate it, and I think it's great all the work you're doing with the boys' club. See, some of the kids are here. And you're here to support them. That's great."
Yeah. Mikey, and he's running towards first base. I'm like, "Come here, Mikey," and I pull him over, and I'm like, "This is Mikey from the club," and say what was her name again? I have
that's okay.
Jane Forrester.
That's right, Jane Forrester.
I was like, "Jane, this is Mikey from the club," and I just talk with him a little bit, and then I send him off on towards second base.
He's got a Goblin's hat. You guys see the Goblin's hat is the goblin with the baseball cap covering over its eyes, and there's a bat, and then a club behind him, as you can see it in the Goblins team roster on the.
I give him one of the baseballs as well.
So. Oh wow, nice. And he says, "Oh, this is great. Thanks, Jimmy." And he runs off, and Jane says, "It's really great. I think that's excellent. This is something we've noticed that you do and Ski does. It's really great, all the outreach that you do. I'm going to head in. I wanted to talk to a few of the others. Thank you so much for your time, Jimmy, and good luck tonight or tomorrow with you guys finishing up the series against the Pathfinders."
I expect it'll be a good game.
So you guys head in the showers. Hiram, do you shower at the stadium, or is this a thing where you just grab your stuff and head out? Like, how do you know what's your post-game routine?
Yeah, I normally shower at the stadium. I like to be clean. I feel like it's important to be a good role model for the kids, and cleanliness and hygiene are very important.
Absolutely. Cool. So you go ahead and take a shower. It's pretty jovial all around. You notice that the bus is soaking in the hot tub. He's complaining a little bit about his arm, but it's post-game stuff. It's just how he is. Hoijun Park, Korean American second baseman. He hangs around your locker, and when you come back from the showers, he says, "Hey, I don't know if you want to talk to her, but Jane Forrester she's outside. You know, don't normally let reporters in when we're showering and stuff, but she wanted to chat with you if you've got a minute.
Sure. Thanks for passing that on. So I finish getting dressed and I head out to meet up with Jane.
Cool. Jane's in her 40s. She's attractive, but and she dresses pretty casually because it's not that huge of a team and it's on the radio. So
Right.
she's got her hair pulled back into a ponytail and she's wearing a pair of jeans and nice top, and she waits outside and there's a concrete hallway that's just outside of the locker room. She's kind of pacing back and forth there. They've cut to some other things they're doing in the post game, and then when you come out, she says, "Hey, do you have a minute here to chat?"
Sure, absolutely, Jane.
Great. Hiram, you were part of a really great pitch out of the fastest kid on the Pathfinders. Jonah, that was really athletic. That catch you made was fantastic.
Thank you for noticing, Jane, but I really have to give the credit to our fantastic catcher, Brick DeVore. That was a perfect throw he made.
Wow, perfect throw. It looked a little high. I felt like you were compensating for him. I think do you normally want people do you jump up that high? I mean, this is your first season.
Yeah, it was a little high, but he got it there when it needed to be there, and that's the important thing.
Nice, cool. So why don't you give me a likability roll? So you just roll that d20 and
yeah, that's the 3.
That's fantastic. She says, Hiram, you have had you're a Gauntlet City local. That's hear that, what it says in the program is that you are a walk-on, that you just tried out. What has it always been your dream to be a baseball player?
I was actually the captain of my high school football team, but I'm a latecomer to baseball compared to some of the other players, but it is fantastic. I have just fallen in love with the game. It is wonderful. America's pastime.
Absolutely. You've got a lot of raw talent here. I really hope that you're able to refine things. Mike Hernandez, the manager, has a lot of high hopes for the team this year. What do you think? Do you think you guys can make it all the way to the tournament?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is a great bunch of guys.
Cool.
I am just so proud that we play with them. I am just so over the moon about this.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Hiram. It's really great having you on and getting to talk a little bit about baseball with you.
Thanks, Joe. It's just so great to be here.
Cool. And we'll cut out of that. The post-game interviews are pretty short and sweet. They wrap up the package, and Mike gives you guys a few encouraging words. The manager tells you, hey, that's 2 in a row. This is a great season so far. Everybody performing top level. I love some of the teamwork that I'm seeing. Man, bench, when you charged on that bunt, I really didn't know if you were going to pull it off, but that was a hell of an arm, man. That's great. May have to try you up on the mound.
Hell yeah, Coach. Just having fun.
Cool. And he talks and calls out a few other people. Tells everybody, hey, I'm going to give the game ball to Bus. I know that you guys supported him well, but pitching all the way into the 7th to save some of our arms, that was Herculean. And there's a little bit of claps for the Bus, but he's already in the hot tub, in the big metal. He's soaking up, and so he gets the game ball. And that is the end of the game and the post game. You guys are headed able to do whatever you want. Jimmy, are you going out again tonight?
Yeah.
Another victory, which means that if you guys head down to Bassettville, the local tavern in Bassettville, which is near the stadium, actually has usually free drinks for you guys, and they don't card very studiously for ball players. So that is an option if you guys want to go to the Eye of the Dog pub. Do you guys go out as a team?
Yeah. You know what? I take one walk back out onto the field and just kind of watch as the lights go out, and then I'm going to join the guys.
Oh, man, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, they're already pulled up the bases. They're doing the groundskeepers are working on a couple of divots from a few of the plays that you guys had earlier. So you guys head out to the dog pub. And is anyone not going to the pub?
I'm going.
Yeah, I'm
Of course
going.
you are.
Of course.
I don't think Kyle's going.
No, Kyle is not going. Kyle is not going.
It's called
Devin
Hair of
is
the
not
Dog,
going.
not Eye of the Dog, right?
Devin is not going either. He is gonna go to bed early. Cool. So we kind of skip ahead to you guys heading to the pub, and you get a call, Hiram. It's the manager of your Subway.
Okay.
What's their name? Is
Jen.
Jen? So it's Jen, and it is about 9 o'clock at night. Jen says, "Hey, Hiram, did I catch you at a bad time?" You're standing on the sidewalk right outside the Eye of the Dog pub.
That's cool. What's up?
Listen, man, I hate to do this, but our closer just left sick, and we don't have anybody to close down tonight. If you can come in.
Yeah, I can make it, but you owe me one.
Okay. Yeah, of course I owe you one. You didn't play tonight, did you?
Yeah, I played. Just going out for some drinks with the guys after the game, but no problem. I can swing by the shop.
Okay. Yeah, okay, because it's Saturday night. We've got that 16-year-old kid who can stick around until 10.
Sure. Yeah. I can be there. I can definitely be there by 10. And thanks, Jen, for being so flexible with my schedule with this whole ball game thing. That's really been a big help.
No problem, Hiram. So thanks so much for coming in.
Still got time for one before you go?
Nah, I better get over there. So look, so sorry, guys. You're gonna have to find another designated driver.
I never ride home with the guys anyway. So.
Oh man, that's funny. JJ, who's the center fielder, kind of one of the fastest guys, he says, "Hey man, that's some bullshit, man. You should be sticking around with us. You don't have to go to freaking Subway. That's a dime a dozen job, man. Come on, go out drinking with us. She can't do you that way."
First round. Come on.
Dude, our closer is sick. What am I going to do? You can't ditch the team when your closer is sick. I mean,
you can't ditch the team after we won a second game in a row. Come
Yeah,
on,
man.
One round.
There's no future in Subway, man. Come on, there might be a future with us.
Look, I was a manager at Subway once, and I am going to be a manager again.
Oh my God, look at these lofty goals. Come on. Come drink a beer with us. It will be free.
I put my hands on Hiram's shoulders.
Dude,
I would like to interject at this point.
Okay, what's Brick's interjection?
As the as the catcher. I put my arm around Hiram's shoulder and draw him a few steps away, giving the hold on a second, guys finger to everybody else that's
JJ calls, yeah, listen to the old man.
I'm totally okay with that. And I say, listen, Hiram, baseball is not just a game about skill and determination. It is a game about teamwork. And getting to know these guys, getting to be the guy that they think of is the guy that they can rely on. That's where I've effed up in the past. You need to make a decision about how you feel about this team if you're actually going to be a part of it.
You know, Doc, I appreciate that, but when I told Jen I would be there. I mean, I am a man of my word, right?
One beer, Hiram. That's all it takes. One beer, and then make your excuses.
One beer.
Okay.
Maybe two beers.
I'll tell you what. I will go in and I will have a ginger ale with you because I gotta have a clear head when I'm closing. That math is hard.
Boy, howdy, we got some progress.
All right, I'll take it, but that won't be enough next time, man. That won't be enough next time.
Sure. No problem. Look, I talked with Jen. I'm clear on game days. This is just a one-time thing. I got to go and cover for a guy who is sick.
Yeah, keep telling yourself it's a one-time thing. Keep telling yourself. You're working with teenagers. Someone's always going to have an excuse.
Okay.
So, all right. I bring him back over. We all head in.
Awesome. Team all heads in. Most of you guys are wearing your jerseys or, ball caps, anything to story games. So you guys come in. The Eye of the Dog pub is, it's a local pub. So it's got a big, nice bar, great beer selection, lots of big tables, high tops, tons of sports paraphernalia up on the walls. There's even a team picture of the Goblins from the first time through for Brick. And JJ makes a joke about it being in black and white. It's not true. It's not true at all. There's a picture.
I cuss him out. I actually slap him in the back of the head.
Oh, he laughs. He thinks that's great.
Yeah.
There's a picture from last year with the MVP of the tournament, which is none other than Jimmy Stokes. Picture him, his bat over his shoulders, that good little macho-looking pose, backdrop against the stadium. And you guys all grab a couple of tables and start pounding brews, get a few pitchers and start drinking. And you get your one ginger ale, Hiram, before you start to.
Yeah. I mean, after I have the ginger ale, it's like, okay, I got time for a light beer.
Nice.
So I actually drink a couple of light beers before I leave, and I get to the subway about 10:05. It's
Cool. So yeah, that's fantastic. And right about the time that Hiram's leaving, and Chan says, sorry, not Chan. Sorry, I messed up names there. Hoy Jun Park. He says he'll walk with you for a block or so. Roxy and Veronica, the girls that you met, Jimmy, you and Devin met last night, they are there again, and they come over to the table with you and Bench and Brick and a couple of the other guys. JJ's there as well. The boss hasn't made it. He's just going to bed. But when Veronica and Roxy start to come over, just brazenly come right over, what do you do?
I'm trying to remember which one I was with, and I can't. So I don't know if you guys listened to the last episode, but when they put their number in my phone, I like put the name as Veronica or Roxy ? And so I pat my leg for one of them to come sit on my leg, and I'm going to assume that whoever sits on my leg is who I was with last night.
It's Veronica, dark-haired Veronica.
Okay.
She comes over, slides, and sits on your leg and slides her arm around your shoulder. And Roxy comes up. Roxy's she's got like a mocha-colored skin, large afro, and she comes in, kind of leans against the table and looks at everybody else. Where's Devin?
Couldn't make it tonight. Turned in early.
Well, I shouldn't be surprised. I'm Roxy, and she extends a hand to you, Ernest, since you spoke to her.
Well, the good news is it leaves a chair open. Push one out and flip a glass over, fill up with whatever's in the pitcher right now. Probably like Pilsner, brand Pilsner.
Yeah, absolutely. She will slide over. She's happy to take a free beer, and she'll sit right by you, which happens to put her in between you and Brick. And she says to you, Brick, like, hey, are you like a coach? You guys laugh, and she really didn't mean it to be insulting. And JJ starts slapping the table and says, I'll go get a new pitcher, coach. And he grabs a pitcher and he goes towards the bar.
He's a catcher, and he's gonna go get a pitcher.
Yeah, coach. When are we starting tomorrow?
So first off, as JJ is walking away, I will pick up. There's like a bowl of nuts, peanuts in the shell peanuts, and I pick up one and whip it at his head as he walks away, just because. And then I turn to this one's Roxy, right?
Yes.
I turn to Roxy and I say, I'm like, despite what these youngsters say, I am in fact an active catcher on the roster.
That's great.
Roll that likability.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. Roll likability.
Oh, my likability sucks. So
Yeah.
I set myself up for it.
That's good.
I think I'm a 9.
You are 9. Roll an 8 or less, please.
I am a 9. It's a 5.
What?
Oh, she laughs. Everybody else laughs. And she says, You're a catcher? Oh, wow. I heard that they're like the smartest guy on the field.
You may as well be the coach.
Cool.
Well, I have been known to, you know, lose my wits under the right circumstances. And I look her right in the eye.
Oh yeah, you're singing her tune. She's quite interested in flirting, and she'll start flirting with you pretty well. Veronica is cozied up to you since you offered a lap, but there are other pretty girls here. You just going to go ahead and enjoy her company tonight, Jimmy? That's not a euphemism for sex. That's just, are you not planning on scoping out any other girls? That's the only question that I'm asking.
Yeah. I'll stick with Veronica tonight, and if you know, if she becomes too clingy in the future, then maybe I'll have to talk to her. But tonight's okay.
Yeah, both Veronica and Roxy are college students. They attend Carlock Morris University, which is just a stone's throw from the stadium and adjacent to Bassettville, where you guys are now. And they have an apartment that's not far from the Eye of the Dog pub, as Jimmy well knows. So they will hang out and chat with you, Brick and Jimmy. JJ comes back with a pitcher, and he starts trying to get people to do drinking games, which could get you trashed if you don't watch yourself. There is a game on Sunday afternoon game. So how are you handling that, Bench?
I'm not going all in on this. I've had my pitcher. We go to the new guy into actually coming out and staying out for a while. We made fun of the old guy, flirted with some girls. I'm good.
So around 10 o'clock, Bench, you guys have been, it'd be past 10 o'clock, right? Because we've already passed 10. And I'm going to circle back around to Hiram in a minute. You get a text, I guess it'd be around 10:30 then, you get a text from the Scotts, from Mr. Scott. Congratulations on the game. You were great. When should I expect you home?
I actually won't be very late. Just finishing up here.
Okay, we'll leave the light on for you, Ernie.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
Nice. Call me Jeff. Goff. Sweet.
Yes, Mr. Scott.
So I'm going to say that's Jeff and Hillary. And yeah, so you guys hang out. It gets maybe 11:15 or so. And Ernest, you recognize, let's see, what's a good, Stephanie Scott, Jeff and Hillary's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in with a guy you've never seen before. You do.
I just, you know what? I go up if they're just walking in, if they're doing the rounds, heading over to the bar. I walk up and say hi. Ask
Cool.
if she caught the game.
Sweet. So you can tell from the body language that the two of them are at least familiar with each other. You come up, you say hi. She says, "Oh, hey, Ernie. Listen, this is my friend Jason. Jason, this is Ernest. I told you about my parents always put up ball players, and no, she is not legal drinking age, and she's holding a drink as you walk up. She just ordered it, and Jason offers you a hand. It's like, hey, nice to meet you. Dude, so the Goblins, right? That's the baseball team?
Yeah, and I shake his hand. So you a baseball fan too? And I look down at the drink in her hand, then just kind of back to him.
Oh, it doesn't really register to him there. He says, "Sure, yeah, I played in high school. Nothing, nothing in college though. Man, you got a good strong arm." He grabs your forearm, and Stephanie says, "Hey, listen, can you?" And she takes a drink from a drink there. Can you not say anything to Jeff and Hillary?
Of course not. I won't say anything. No.
Okay,
You're just
cool.
keeping it between the lines.
I'm not even driving.
Then I've got nothing to say about that.
See, I told you, he's cool. Jason's like, yeah, but you don't go back there when those guys are there, right? She says, what do you care? And he looks at you and says, I don't know. You guys aren't allowed to do anything with Stephanie, are you?
Wouldn't dream of it.
She's like, well, what if they... I don't think that's up to them. That's up to me.
Lady's got a point there.
Whoa. I was just asking questions. Shit, I'm getting a beer. And we'll cut away from that to Hiram coming to the subway. Walk up, there's a line that's already formed up at the make line. And you see that poor 16-year-old trying to keep up. She's trying to ring up somebody. Looks like a bunch of people just got out of the movies. And yeah, you can hear somebody like, can you hurry up? I'd like to have my food before it gets cold.
Okay, I mean, I rush in, but I rush in behind the counter, and I mean, I don't even take the time to change into my subway uniform. I'm just pulling on some plastic gloves and pitching in, trying to get the line out, trying to cut down on the line.
Nice, cool. So yeah, you come in. Are you in street clothes, or are you actually wearing any of your uniform?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm still wearing a team jersey because I was going to go out drinking with the guys, and I've got my cap on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a likability roll? See if you can get these irritated customers to chill the hell out.
That is a what?
Oh, that's awesome, man. Oh, there's a bunch of there are people like, whoa, wait. He actually plays for him, and there are a couple people who start asking, they taking pictures.
Right.
Want to get pictures of you.
Yeah. I'm handing out autographs.
Nice.
Signing napkins.
Right. So, I'm signing napkins and handing them out, and yeah, I'm reminding people of the promo Subway has at the stadium next Thursday. It's sub night at the ballpark, half price subs.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is so cool. So by the time you take care of them, Motoko, who's the 16-year-old, she stayed over, like it's Pat, like she shouldn't be here anymore, but because she's 16, she stuck around and finished up with making sandwiches, and everybody calmed down because they have a minor celebrity here, all kinds of goblin stuff, and the guy's like, I can't believe you like work here. You must get a really sweet deal.
Oh yeah, this is a great place to work. I mean, the manager is just so awesome. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we do have applications. We're always hiring.
Especially if you want to work an evening shift.
And you won't bail on a Saturday night. Oh, that's awesome. So they end up all eating, and everybody's really happy. Motoko looks tired. Her hair's kind of askew a little bit. She has mustard on her shirt, like there was some kind of squeeze bottle emergency or kind of mistake. And she said, "Oh my God, that was the worst rush of my entire life."
It's okay. It's okay now. You can take off. I'll handle everything till closing.
Well, I mean, I already clocked out because I didn't want to get anybody in trouble.
Okay, I'll talk to Jen. I'll tell her. I'll tell her how you pitched in and stayed a bit late. We'll handle this. We'll give you an extra. We'll clock you in an hour early next shift or something. We'll make it up to you.
Okay. Well, if I'm gonna do an hour, I mean, I could let me knock out the dishes. And she starts to head back to the start washing dishes.
No. Get on home. This you did great. Go home, get some sleep.
Oh, well, I don't actually sleep, but okay. And she takes off her apron. I mean, I do sleep, but not until like 2. And then she walks around the counter and just kind of leans. Thinks, "You sure I could wipe down some tables?"
Nah, it's okay. It's okay, John. You're supposed to be off the clock. I mean, we don't want. I mean,
I am off the clock.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what if a city inspector happened to walk in and he just wanted a sandwich, but then he saw a 16-year-old kid wiping down the tables? We could get in big trouble. It's
okay.
Just I know.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Right.
Okay. And then she gets her phone out and goes over and sits at a table and drinks a Coke for 15 or so minutes, and the rush has really died down.
Right.
It gets closer and closer to midnight, and she eventually takes off when her dad comes to pick her up. So yeah, that's how you get to spend the rest of your night while everybody is over at Eye of the Dog pub having a grand old time, getting drunk and hanging out with each other. Cool. So I think
Brick does not play drinking games.
Brick does. I wanted to give people like a couple of like last scenes as we start to wrap up for the session, because it's a 2-hour and then we'll do our Roses and Thorns. So what's the last scene, or do we have any scenes in mind for Brick here as we bring the night to a close?
I think he gets Roxy's number. He's been alternating beer and water because he's not quite ready to give up drinking socially, but he's really trying to keep, as someone just said, between the lines in general. And so I think he's been drinking session beer, like Michelob Ultra or something like that, and alternating, and just so I don't think he actually goes home with anybody, but he will. I think for me, if we want a Gauntlet style cinematic closing scene.
Sure.
I think the last thing we see is that actually there's a right. So imagine there's a big sort of regular looking, but probably built in the 50s Protestant church steeple, but bland, right? Just concrete. Next door is what they call the parsonage, which is the house the church owns that the current minister lives in. And then in an empty lot behind that, there's a trailer. And I think that's what we see Brick letting himself into. And he's got he is greeted by a of all things, I'm going to say a min pin, a miniature Doberman pincher
Okay.
that he then takes care of and takes for a walk.
Is this a yappy min pin or laid back, or like how excitable is your min pin?
No, this min pin is like one of those like Dobermans that have been trained to live with families goodly, as opposed to being trained to be aggressive. They're kind of leaners. Right? They're like, I know my instinct is to protect you, but all I can remember is that I'm supposed to be close. And I think this is a mint of that kind of attitude.
All
and
right.
is
So
not.
what is the name of your min pin, of Rick's min pin?
Mickey, for Mickey Mantle.
Nice. Like it a lot.
Oh, actually, no, wait. I've lost the name. I think this is even better. The catcher turned broadcaster. That one that got inducted into the Hall of Fame as a broadcaster and is funny as shit. I'll come back to you.
Yogi Berra?
No, I'll give you the name in a moment.
Okay.
I promise.
Yogi Berra to me is funny as shit, but it's all good. He's also really weird. What is our last scene that we have for bench for this session?
I think he gets up from the table. He brings his. He switched to like whiskey and Coke at some point here.
Nice.
He brings that with him, finishes it up, leaves it at the bar, and he sees Stephanie and Jason as they're leaving the other way, and he just kind of like nods at them and just kind of like an extra long glance, and then he heads off back to the Scots place.
Oh, nice. So when the Scots, Jeff, he wasn't waiting up. He's just a big fan of, the late night shows. So any report in there when?
I let myself in the back door. I'm trying to be quiet, but then I notice the TV's still on in the front. I poke my head into the living room and just, evening, Mr. Scott.
Oh, hey. Oh, wait. Oh, Hillary's asleep, but fun out with the team, out with the guys? Everything okay?
Yeah, great night out with the guys. We really put it together out there on the field today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you guys really good. Good D, lots of offense. Man, good stuff.
Yeah, there's one there early in the game. I had a real good look at it. Took a nice big swing, but just wasn't there today.
Well, that play you made on that bunt, I was incredible. I was the best third baseman fielding a bunt I've ever seen in my whole life.
Oh, I don't know about that. Just in the right place at the right time.
Nice. And no mention of Stephanie. You keep the secret as it were. Okay, cool.
No reason. No.
And then what do we see for Jimmy? How does he end his night?
So, Jimmy has rules, and baseball is professional, and there are rules to it, and then outside of baseball is fun, and I mean it's got its own rules too. But the key point is that outside the job and inside the job don't mix. But with drinking games tonight, I probably drank a little too much. So I introduced Veronica to the team jacuzzi.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's great. You sneak in, introduce her to the team jacuzzi. That's spectacular. I like that a lot. That's awesome. That is awesome. Cool. And so we will bring this game session to a close. It's been a couple hours, so let's do a quick 2-3 minute bio break. And then if you guys have the opportunity to stay after to give feedback, I'd really appreciate it. If you do need to jet, totally understand. So we'll just take 3 minutes and we'll see you guys here.
All right.
I'm still off camera, but I'm here.
Okay. See your avatar kind of flashing as you talk.
Yeah, I like that. It's like motion lines in a comic.
It is. It's just it's the Paul comic.
My delightful wizard.
I love that wizard. He's dope.
I'm going to insist, Rich, that I never heard you say something was dope before you watched The Good Place.
I think that's where I got it from.
Insist.
I'm good with that. I'm okay with that being a thing that I picked up from The Good Place.
Is that show consistently good? I've seen a little bit of it.
It's fantastic.
It's really fun.
It's not just funny. It's really sharply written. I've actually learned aspects of philosophy from this show, and they do it in really clever and interesting ways. And Ted Danson it's the best Ted Danson's been since his best moments of Cheers.
Wow.
Hands down. He's incredibly funny. Really, really funny. And I have a soft spot in my heart for Kristen Bell, Veronica Mars.
Bell.
She's super good.
Yep.
Super good.
Yeah,
And-
I've just watched the first couple of episodes of that, but I'm going to have to get caught up because a couple of the episodes were nominated for Hugos, so I'll have to watch those.
See, my son's 12, and he had heard that it was a good show, and I was like, I don't think you're gonna get it, dude. And I'd watched it with Paul. Paul and I, we simulcast it, and I loved it. And so I sat down. Paul and I were we were watching a couple episodes a night, and it was we were halfway through the second season when my son started watching it. He powered through the first season in a weekend and just kept going. And I'm like, you have to stop now because now you're catching up to me.
Yeah.
And so we ended up watching the rest of the second season together. And my wife, he's been on her for almost a month now to watch it. And my wife finally sat down and watched the first episode 2 nights ago and said, "Okay, fine, it's funny."
and one of the things for me is that I think they play very well. The writing plays very well to the actors' strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kristen Bell is doing that Veronica Mars snark plus the snappy timing that she sometimes got, and but it's a different character, but it's playing to the strengths of what she brings to the table.
Yeah. And last bit, and then we'll talk about Bat Hack. I especially love that this show is not precious with any aspect of its concept or setting. It will put things at significant risk and does not care, and will just keep going on, because they can find other funny stuff to do. So it's like, I can't believe that we've gotten here from there.
It's willing to change its concept, and it does a really good job of changing it when it does it.
Yep. It's one of those like, oh, well, they've jumped the shark. Oh no, they didn't jump the shark at all. Like, okay, great. The Bat Hack. Roses and Thorns. So we'll start off with Thorns again. This is a playtest, a game that I've built off of the Black Hack, and my goals are to try to come up with a fun RPG that allows a little bit of slice of life, a little bit of baseball, and is easy to pick up. As far as running it, I'm not worried about that for the playtest thing. I realized that, like, the man behind the curtain, don't talk to the man behind the curtain because I'm still developing. Another person could possibly GM this. It's an alpha playtest. So with that in mind, Thorns are things that didn't quite work for you, were confusing, aspects of tonight's play that were unsatisfactory, and why. Also, things that were confusing for you, and you might need clarification for future, or any parts of just the whole approach that maybe aren't firing for you, and why. So, don't necessarily I'm not asking you to redesign my game. I'm just wanting your feedback as a player in tonight's session. So we'll start off with Steven. Steven, what Thorns did you have from tonight's session?
I felt like there were not a lot of decision points, particularly during the actual play of the game. It was mostly you describing a situation and telling us what to roll, basically.
Okay.
I mean, there were a couple of places where people did have to make a decision, like whether to just do a regular hit or swing for the fences. But for the most part, it was just we were presented with a situation, we rolled a die, and we narrated the result.
That's fair. That's one of the things that I'm struggling with in running the game is, like, how much do I describe of what's going on in a baseball game versus just setting up briefly a scenario? Because I feel like if I go too brief, then there'll be like a ream of a couple hundred questions. So that's fair. That's definitely something I can improve on. I hear you. Decision points, situationals that are interesting and give you opportunities. Cool. Anything else, Steven?
No, that was the main thing.
That's a pretty main thing. That's good feedback, though. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sean, what about you? What Thorns did you have?
Kind of following on that, I didn't really get a sense if we were like affecting momentum in the game at all with our decisions. I think that might be possibly some way to tie it in. So we were already up by 2 runs. Were we just going to trounce them and have a party with it, or were we going to approach it seriously? Were they going to rally at any point? I didn't get a sense of if any of that was actually at stake. If it just came down to we blew a roll at some point and then things happened, or if there was any way to, affect that.
Cool.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. The current approach that I have for running the game is that I pick a box score of a game that's already completed. And I jump to innings where either something good has happened for the home team or for your team, or there was a threat to score for the other team, and then I put that at risk. And that's kind of the way in which I'm putting things. So momentum, that's a good question. Is a game that was played. So if you guys do really well in the top half of an inning, per se, that's not necessarily going to carry through to future innings. There's no mechanics for that. It's just each individual top and half of every inning is either predetermined and put at risk to be changed, or if we skip past it because it's goose eggs or whatever, I think there's an interesting setup or scenario 3 innings down the road, then I skip to it. But that's an interesting question. That's what I'm doing. Like, that's my approach right now. But
so man behind the curtain. But
yeah, that's man behind the curtain stuff. But it's a good point. Like the feel of momentum, because like a rally cap, the idea of a rally, that's a big part of baseball, and I don't know if that's necessarily present in the rules as they stand. Okay, cool. Anything else, Sean?
Looking for ways to affect what's going on in the field while we're on the bench. So rally cap, but if there's anything else we can do, making that clear. And I know that the help mechanic is in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There are a lot of like helpless moments in baseball, and I model that in the game, but helpless also isn't necessarily fun. So that's
help us make sense in the diegesis, but like as players, it's weird. Just be sitting back and watching, and that's the initiative count.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sean gets extra points for saying diegesis. By the way, Sean gets
and for only tripping
like 2
on
extra points.
It's pretty impressive. Sean, anything else?
No, thanks.
Cool. Paul, what thorns did you have from the game?
I won't repeat some of what was just said, but I know you've been actually, so ignoring what has already been said that I agree with but need to think about more. I was just sad. I don't think Hiram ever got to hit.
That's true.
And so I was sad for that moment. But then we got some Hiram spotlight back later in the post game. So I don't think it was necessarily a spotlight issue. It was just that Hiram didn't get to have an offensive stand.
Yep. You're right. That would have been at least a nice one for once in the game session. Good point. Anything else, Paul?
That's it.
Cool. All right. Last but not least on thorns, Mark. What thorns did you have? This is your second time around.
I know, right?
Double the insight, right?
So thorn number 1, I was late to the game. Should not have done that, but it was unavoidable. Still, thorn. Thorn number 2, you nerfed my special ability.
Did I?
Yeah, it used to be that when your team is behind in the score, you do not roll with disadvantage when swinging for the fences, which is why I did so well last game. Now you've made it was behind after the 6th inning.
I know. I nerfed you a little bit.
You did nerf me, so so those are obviously. I mean, I'm sorry that I was here late, but
I'm not worried about it. It's okay. You gave me a heads up, and we had several things to do, and you actually showed up right about the time that I needed you. So it's okay. You were very responsible. It's okay. You're forgiven, but you can keep it as a thorn if it makes you happy.
All right. I've got some roses, but I can't think of any of thorns. So.
Okay, I like to do roses and thorns snake order. So since you were the last 2 thorns, you were the first to do roses. What roses did you have to hand out? Roses are things that you enjoyed in the session, but this is also a very important part to highlight the play of other players and recognize things they did that were really cool.
Okay. So this being the second time I played, the pattern of a game, some interviews, the bar, and an aftermath, having had it done twice, I love it. Like, pacing is just fun. That pacing is fun for me. I expect there to be sessions where things are going to be different, where you might start with no game or something like that, or you start before the game or something. But that pattern really felt, as having done it twice, felt fun for me. And I really enjoyed going up to the mound this time. I remember not liking it last time because I didn't quite understand it, but now that I understand it, the purpose of it, that was fun. I really enjoyed the compromise that Hiram made to being a teammate and also being, loyal to their job. Sometimes in one shots or two shots, you just go to the extremes. You just choose one or the other. But he found a way to make both work, and it felt more real than him either just saying screw the job or screw you guys, but finding a way to make that work. And I really enjoyed the banter with Brick at the bar, where he pulled up his old man act, and still ended up being a flirt machine. I thought that was really cool. The dice tonight were really good to us, definitely.
They were.
And I forgot the third baseman's name, Sean's character.
Bench.
Bench.
Right. I thought I thought the interaction you're having with your family was fun, and I want to see where it goes. So those are my roses.
Cool. Thank you very much. Paul, what roses did you have, sir?
I liked both the decision and the description that Jimmy made in the help roll that he didn't need to wind up rolling, in the teamwork roll that he didn't need to wind up rolling, but I still thought the description was great. I also enjoy the sort of implied structure of a session and can see how that would be fun to, longer series would be fun to interrupt with a rain day or something like that, where a game is canceled or whatever happens. I liked very much, as Mark said, I liked Hiram's both reluctance and then willingness to compromise. I thought that was that made sense and also deepened the character. And and Sean just brought a lot of kind of honest to the table, both with baseball interactions, because how old is Bench, right? He's not old enough to probably be the guy that's going to tell on his host family's daughter unless he sees something really convincing or concerning. So, and Rich, I thought you did very well incorporating the world outside the game once we got there, and the transition was smooth and well done.
Thank you. Good. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Before we move on to Sean, because two people have brought it up, I want to ask a question, and this is game designing question. When we got to that scene that we've talked about of the question of, will you stay with the team and drink with us for a little bit, Hiram, or are you going to go off to your job? And Brick was trying to convince him. Like there was a part of me that wanted to insert mechanics there. Like when we guys first had the first objection, my first thought was, should there be a convincing mechanic? Should this be like a duel of wits? Like, of course, should there be mechanics? But I didn't. Like, I wanted to play with what we had. And watching the scene develop out, even though it was a little like 2 characters role playing and no mechanics hitting the table, and you guys work it out amongst yourselves. What did you feel a mechanic missing there, or did that work?
No, I think mechanics would have gotten in the way of that scene.
Okay.
I don't disagree, but I was totally prepared for a leadership role in that instance.
That was definitely a leadership role instance, and I was like really.
But I just didn't know what you would oppose it with. I just didn't know what one would oppose it with.
Yeah.
So,
but I've got to make sure leadership can work.
Right, because I never rolled it.
Yeah. I think I could have, and I'm a little far afield here, but I think that the bus could have, like, if you had a different opinion than just going with the bus, like, I want to walk this guy. If you'd said otherwise, you would have had to leadership him into pitching to the guy. But you went with what he said, so it seemed to obviate a role. Yeah,
right.
I can definitely challenge leadership more. Cool. Thank you, guys. Sean, what roses did you have?
Actually, while we're here, like, I really like that you did leave that scene open. If you do put a mechanic there, it shouldn't force people to do things, but it should insert like a consequence later maybe for them. It's going to come back and bite them if they defied the leadership. But no, if you're going for the old school feel of it and you're trying to stick close to Black Hack OSR type stuff, yeah, letting people role play the role play parts for sure. I'd love the slice of life stuff, and I can't wait to see what other like phases you build into it. So if we had our game, interview, clubhouse, bar, aftermath, do we have pregame or like training session? Do we have any sort of like coaching or video review or anything where we actually try and take baseball seriously? Those would be cool scenes to have and to freshen up, and maybe we cut right from one to another. I'm excited to see what else you have in store based on what I already saw tonight.
Cool. Just as a preview, next session will be a away game series. So you guys will be bus ride and stuff like that. So pretty excited for that.
Awesome. I picked like the wrong stats for my moves, but I don't feel like that's hindering me at all.
Okay, cool.
Like if there's runners on base, I might actually get advantage on something, but like I'm never going to hit a ball for the life of me unless I luck out. I'm looking at that like, well, that's my life in baseball now. As long as I can keep turning plays at third, then I'm fine. And when coach said, no, maybe we'll put you on the mound, I'm starting to think like, is there a way to move from position to position, or do you just cover off? Or
that's a great question.
I'll leave that one as just a question mark.
Yeah. Well, in Black Hack, right, you're a fighter. But in baseball, a third baseman covering shortstop totally happens. I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I could make a ruling if it happened. I would probably just say you stick with your base position benefits until it's enough times passed where you're no longer a third baseman. You're now a first baseman, or we've moved you to the outfield for half of the season, and so we just switch positions. It'd be off the top of my head, that's how we go with it, but I could see other things. Any other roses, Sean?
I love the old man jokes and everything that we did in the bar after the game. Also, like putting Hiram under pressure like that, like wedging him between the team and his other commitments, and then seeing his commitment to his other team, his aspirations of being a manager again at Subway held above his aspirations of baseball. I wanted to just be like, man, that's not the kind of thing you announce when you're trying to be cool around people. No, I really like the dynamic that was evolving between the players or between the characters and the players.
Cool. Thanks, Sean. Steven, what roses did you have?
I really like the slice of life stuff, especially like the interviews with the reporter, where she's like putting pressure on the players. She's trying to catch them out. That was fun, and like the interaction between the players, trying to figure out, okay, are you a team player? Are you the kind of guy we want to hang out with? So.
Good. I'm glad that worked for you. I really impressed with you guys working as a team, coming up with some ideas and scenarios, playing off of each other. It was really giving for you guys as players, and also you were super understanding with me and even giving this a shot. I super appreciate it. So that I'll go ahead and bring this to a close. That will be the end of the Bat Hack session 2 of 3. Thank you all so much for playing. I genuinely enjoyed myself tonight. Thank you.
Okay.